Hello, hello, Ashen, the comic book hunter here with a new comic book hunt. Alright, well, I don't know if you are aware of this or not, but earlier this evening I attempted to do this live stream and unfortunately I was not in good spirits, so it didn't turn out too well. So let's try this again. Let's get it done. Let me break down my live stream for you. The first portion of my live stream talks about comics that I got this past week, and I do a bit of a review on each one of them. Not usually too spoilerific. Every now and again I will be, but I usually warn you ahead of time for that. The center portion, I usually talk about something random, whatever I feel like discussing that caught my attention that week. And then the third act is comics from next week. What should you pick up next week? Who knows? Well, hey, I got some advice for you, okay? All right. So let us get started. We have a double header to lead the way here. We have... Ooh, you ready? The Question, The Deaths of Vic Sage. Yes, this is the second book in the series, and oh, it is beautiful. Such a well done series. And let me go ahead real quick and show you the cover B variant. Oh, there it is. Yes. I actually like the first cover a little bit better. I like how this ties to the first cover, how they match each other. It's really appeasing to have that for my OCD, like, oh, whoa, they match. It's just different time periods. Yeah, I love it though. So I can't say too much about this series without spoiling something for you, but what I can say is that this series is excellent, and I would recommend you pick it up. Don't even think about it. If you could get your hands on it, pick this up. Some of you may know I'm doing a giveaway for the first issue of The Question, The Deaths of Vic Sage. If you're interested in being part of that drawing, I'll be doing that next week. You can say enter me in this video too, and you'll be entered. Unless you've already been entered in my last video, then just leave it for new people. This comic book though has one of my highest recommendations so far. I love how it has this sort of Lovecraftian theme about the unknown things and things that are hidden in our world, and how Vic Sage has a greater purpose, and maybe he's been living lives throughout history trying to fulfill his purpose. It's just excellent. So without saying any more, just go pick out this book. Maybe I'll give away one of these two as well later, but I don't know. Let's see. We'll see. Okay, so let me show you a little bit of the art from the inside real quick. Just look at this 2-page spread here. Oh, this comic book definitely, like, when you go with the black label, this is the kind of thing that you expect. You have this just excellent storytelling, and the art is just memorable. It's striking. It's great. It's everything you want in a bit of a more mature title. Okay. Next comic I'm going to talk about is The Ruins of Ravencroft, Sabertooth. Now, I'm loving this series. I really enjoy it. But what I gotta say about this is it really pisses me off. Says number 1. There you go. It says number 1, but that's stupid. It's so stupid. This is number 2, okay? It's Ruins of Ravencroft Carnage, which should be number 1. Then Sabertooth, which should just be number 2. Forget the Sabertooth. And then there's number 3 coming out. It's telling one consistent story from one issue to the next. They're not standalone comics. Why name each one of them number one? It's getting ridiculous. Pretty soon, Marvel's just going to be putting out every single issue as number one and then saying, oh, well, this is number one, legacy printing 275 or something like that. So stupid. But this story is actually excellent. So make of that what you will. If you can get the Ruins of Ravencroft Carnage, and you can get the Ruins of Ravencroft Sabertooth, and the next one coming up is Dracula, pick them up. Great storytelling. I love the macabre aspect of Marvel. We don't get enough of this kind of stuff, and this issue is really dark, and it works so well. And it goes into the history of a hidden portion of Ravencroft. It's being torn down. Fisk is rebuilding it as a new advanced institute. And man, they find out some crazy dark secrets about this place. Meanwhile, us, the viewer, are getting transported into the past to hear about the dark legacy of Ravencroft itself. Let me show you a little bit of the art real quick. There you go. This is part of the modern segment. This is some of the dark, locked away secrets. So, excellent comic book, though. I love this team up of characters, and whoever's writing this, let's see, Thierry. Okay, excellent writer. So yeah, go check this out. It's all leading up to the Ravencroft mini series. So that's gonna be fun. Last but not least, I bought last week that I'm gonna talk to you about. Venom, the end. What can I say about this book? This is written by somebody called Warren, Warren. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is terrible, terrible. I do not know what they were thinking with this book. It's it doesn't feel like it's paying any respect to Venom thus far. And this whole story seems really ham-fisted. It's about like the future, and Tony Stark's AI builds up an army of artificial intelligent robot to take out mankind, and then Venom gets the DNA of mankind and rebirths a lot of the ones into his new Venom world, and they take one last stand against the robot AI people, and the war's just going to go on forever. So Venom eventually, spoiler alert, because this is terrible, don't buy it, don't recommend it. So Venom sacrifices himself and creates sort of like a pocket universe or something like that, and to help life grow again. And it turns out in the end, the pocket universe is only yay big, and the AI robot has evolved so much that he's looking at this little orb like, oh, that's cute, we'll keep it around like a little zoo. And that's the end. Anyways, it's terrible, disrespectful, garbage. The storytelling doesn't flow well. It all feels choppy. They focus on elements that don't matter, and the more emotional punches, they kind of hold back on, in my opinion, or you just don't feel bad when you're supposed to. Just not good in any shape or form. So Venom, the end. Don't check it out. Let me show you. This is Venom trying to keep Eddie Brock alive for a long time, because apparently he's the symbiote is obsessed with just keeping him as the host, even though he's had a lot of hosts in the past. So I don't know. Just yeah. Don't check it out. Don't check it out. Okay. Let's get on to something that's a little better. Let's clean our palates. The Lighthouse. If you haven't seen this movie, it is crazy stuff. The thing that shocked me about this film is that it's done in a square aspect ratio, like old tube TVs used to have, the kind I grew up with. And so there you go. You know my secret now. How dare you? But this movie was quite interesting. Let me show you the inside of the box here. If I can open this up. Very, very lackluster release. Look at that, like nothing to it. I do like this movie, these people who come out with these horror movies that are pretty decent, they have this way of having these really extremely lackluster releases. It was the same thing with Midsummer. That we didn't even get the unrated version of Midsummer, and once again, it was all basically this. So, anyway, this movie was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you about it. I really enjoyed it. The only thing I could say though is if you've ever seen the movie Dagon, Dagon, it's this Lovecraftian tale of a village that has dark hidden secrets of an occultic nature, and we have people that are shipwrecked here, and they start to find out about the tendencies of these people and the dark backstory about them in a very abrupt way. So in some ways this reminds me of that because there's a sea element based around that entire film. Without spoiling anything for you about either film, they're both sea related horror, and the lighthouse in some ways seems like a poor man's Dagon, but that's discrediting it for what it is. It has artistic merit. It's just I couldn't help but notice some similar elements. um the movie itself has striking visuals, and it uses that tightened aspect ratio. It uses it to make the whole movie feel claustrophobic, and I just never seen anyone use that aspect ratio so effectively. So I really enjoy what they did with that, and like seeing Robert Pattinson and William Defoe going at it. And, these two characters here uh, breaking down over time. They're losing their sanity. It's meant to be just a standard procedure, and then things go south, and it turns into a trip into madness. But it's excellent. It's a fun story to watch. I don't know about the last ability. I don't know how many times I could watch this because it does rely on a lot of drama, and I'm not really much for drama. But there's a lot of things that keeps you intrigued, and you really want to sit back and kind of watch it again, maybe to see about the little things you missed. I watched it about halfway through, and I went back with my wife and watched it from the beginning again, and there was a lot of stuff I caught on to the second time. So it is a movie that benefits from repeat viewing, but there is a lot of drama, and there is some other unanswered questions and shocking stuff that's mixed in there. But it all fits together pretty nicely, and I would recommend it for a quick watch. So there you go. Now we go into comics next week. Next week we have, let's see, Batman Curse of the White Knight. There's a new Batman coming out next week. Now, I was looking on Twitter, and Sean Gordon Murphy said this issue has something that has never been done with Batman before in it. And that really intrigued me. He said he was talking to his editor, and his editor said, "You can't do that with Batman." And then they debated it for a little while, and the editor was like, "Wait a minute. This is not the main DC universe. Let's do it. Let's do this. Nobody else is ever has done this or will ever do this again. So let's see what happens." And so Sean Gordon Murphy is saying this could divide a lot of people. I'm excited though. This series takes risks, and they usually pay off in a really good way. So I'm very excited to see what's going on in this next issue of Batman Curse of the White Knight. You should definitely check this out too. Support a good creator. That's all I could say. Sean Gordon Murphy is a good guy. He hasn't tuned out a lot of the people that are controversial. I mean, he just recently talked to Doug, creator of Earthworm Jim. And in the past, he's talked with Ethan Van Sciver when there was this event happening in Comicsgate. So this is a guy he's not afraid of dipping his toes in a little bit and letting everyone know that he's still just a normal person, and he doesn't really have anything against anyone. And I can respect that. I respect neutrality. I'm a neutral person myself. So the creator has a lot of my respect, and this comic book series has been excellent, and this is going to be a shocking and excellent issue for sure. The next issue on the docket is Ruins of Ravencroft, which should be number 3. Okay, this should be number 3. I don't know why uh, they did it the way that they did. It makes no sense having 3 issue number ones, but whatever. I already went on about that. It just pisses me off to no end. This is the 3rd issue in Ruins of Ravencroft, even though it's just another one shot, supposedly, even though the story is not a one shot. And it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this, seeing how they wrap up the prequel to the miniseries coming up. Love this dark storytelling. Can't wait to see what they do with that secret area underneath Ravencroft. And I can't wait to see what Fisk does in rebuilding Ravencroft itself and how it all ties together. This is going to be a lot of fun. I love this macabre stuff, and you should definitely go check it out. All right, well, that's it. We have reached the end of our show. I saw I had up to 3 people watching, so I appreciate everyone who has stopped in. And it was a good time. Not many interactions or anything, but hey, I appreciate anyone who stops in or interacts or does whatever they're going to do. Uh, this recording went much better than my last one, so I'm happy I decided to delete that one, get rid of it, and try again, because that's what you gotta do sometimes. Sometimes you get a bad start. All right, well, let me get this up here. I hope you all have a good evening. Yes.